EGM Network.
Welcome to Scouted Treasure Coast, where we spotlight businesses, artisans, and community stewards on the Treasure Coast. Today, our guest is Tony Schnur with Elite Christmas and Landscape Lighting. So there's a chance, if you've ever driven down the road during Christmas or just, and in the evening when the lights are on, and you've noticed a house that, oh, that's really pretty lighting. Tony and his team did it. So we have him here today to talk to us about that and how he started his business, where his passion came from, where he came up with the idea of wanting to do it, and how you can get in touch with him after today's episode. So, Tony, thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. It's great to be here, and I'm excited to talk about my business and my journey.
Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about it. So I understand that you have a real passion for Christmas.
Yeah, I've always had pretty much of a passion for it since I was a kid, always interested in Christmas. Obviously, it's my favorite holiday. It started kind of out as like more of just a passion type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then I really decided to turn it into a business, which is a whole nother, avenue. But it's been a long journey.
So how did that come about? Like, kind of walk us through the process. So like, did you start doing this in high school, college?
So I actually grew up in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I moved down here after
that was really cold.
Yeah. I spent I lived there, I think, till I was about 22, 23. I graduated from college, and then my family had retired and moved down here. Okay. So I was the kind of last one to come down. I decided to, what better time to move down to Florida than right after school. Mm-hmm. So I came down to Florida. Actually started a career in law enforcement and
really?
Did that for about 6.5 years. And then the business idea is something that I kind of came up with on the side. It was kind of just started out to be a side hustle. I wanted to create a business that maybe I could do seasonally to generate some extra income. Because at the time I had a pretty flexible schedule. Right. So I thought this kind of would be a good opportunity. Not a lot of people were doing it. I thought there would be demand for it. So basically came up with the idea and, went all in and kind of went from there. But that was all the way back in 2011. So okay. We're going on our 15th year now. So it's grown quite a bit.
Right. So you do residential, commercial, municipalities, HOAs.
Right. Yeah. Everything any kind of business that wants to decorate for the holidays. We've done everything from now the Versace mansion in South Beach, Miami, all the way up to Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, because I was going to say Melbourne to Jupiter, but now you're correcting me on that.
Yeah. Well, our primary market is, I would say, from like Boca Raton to like Melbourne. Okay. But for bigger projects, yeah, we do go all over the state. I haven't gone outside the state yet, but okay. Yeah, all inside of Florida.
All right. And now it's evolved into landscape lighting.
Yeah. So we introduced that about 7 years ago. It was just basically a way to, keep us busy in the off season. Right. But I also really enjoy landscape lighting because it's more of an artistic form of lighting, kind of like holiday lighting. Right. So not a lot of people realize that you can do a lot of different things and create a lot of different emotions and feelings with lighting and design and everything. So it's a really great avenue for me to explore that and, do that all year round.
So I noticed, or I know when we've been working on an editorial piece to release on you, right. And you came up with a proprietary lighting system, particularly maybe with the oak trees, or can you talk to us about that and how that came about?
Right. So not a lot of people realize that throughout the years, because of the amount of product that we're now using, right. we decided to vertically integrate where we basically manufacture and distribute our own line of products and decor. So that's kind of the third tier of the business. So one of the issues that we've had in the industry is there's been always, a standard light set where there's never been anything that's kind of really durable. They made some improvements throughout the years, but nothing that would kind of be like the ultimate light set, which is basically what I kind of have developed. and we're importing it directly. So we're the only ones in the area right now that are using this product that I know of. It combines all the best of all the different products that I've seen throughout the years. So it's really designed for rigid, commercial use, or like, if you wanted to use it as more of a permanent installation feature. So it has a couple different benefits. It allows the light set to expand. It has an elastic band system in it. So as trees grow over time, if you put regular lights on them, they tend to strangle the tree and they can actually damage the tree. This expands with the tree. We also beefed up the LED bulbs by using epoxy coated injection system. So they're really watertight.
Because that's always a problem.
Yeah, and twist lock connections. And the main benefit too is it uses low voltage technology, so it's safer to use and also creates less issues with like GFI trips and having the lights go out when it rains or when the irrigation turns on.
So tell me the truth about LED light bulbs. Do they really last 10 years or?
Yes, in a perfect environment, LEDs could potentially last many, many years, but the main things that deteriorate LEDs are humidity and moisture.
So
which
in Florida.
In Florida are, definitely a bad thing when you're putting LEDs outside. But that's why you have to have a good quality product. You want it to be watertight, sealed away from the elements, because once you introduce corrosion and moisture into the LED, it's going to cause it to fail.
Okay. So when you're doing your Christmas lighting, do you when you guys set it up, do you do where you would not, I'm not going to say leave it there for the year, but where it's already, when you set that up so that when they come back next year, they just, where to put it? Sometimes you see where it's almost like permanent. I don't know.
Yeah, so some people prefer to do permanent installations. A lot of our customers we found, they'll do a holiday lighting display and they'll like it so much. They're like, well, can you leave the oak tree lit, or can you leave the palms lit? And, it's better if you kind of tell us in advance, because that way we can make sure that we're using the appropriate materials and everything for that. But in terms of our packages, it's all turnkey. Everything's provided as a rental program. So we do professional installation, maintenance through the season, removal, and then the rental of everything, the lighting and decor.
So is that for Christmas, or what if you wanted, what if they liked what you did and then they wanted you to put in the permanent landscape lighting? Yeah,
so we offer both options. Obviously, landscape lighting is designed more for permanent use. So most of our systems, the fixtures are rated with, 10 to 20 year warranties. So this is something that's going to be designed for the long haul of the property. The holiday lighting is more temporary for the seasonal use.
So a lot of people, do they rent that? Do they rent the product?
Yeah, exactly. So we try to make it as easy as possible for people, especially around the holidays. Everyone's got things going on. The last thing you want to do is worry about Christmas lights. So you just call us. I can help you design it, or if you have, specific ideas or colors in mind, we can work together. But we try to make it as easy as possible for people. What kind of trends are you seeing right now? Well, for landscape lighting, I'm seeing a lot of people going, favoring the warmer tones on the lighting. A lot of people like to steer more towards like the 3000 to 2700 Kelvin warm tones, which is more of like the traditional incandescent warmth of lighting.
So it's not white?
Yeah, you see a lot of inexperienced contractors who are installing like the pure white lights, which, if you're not careful, if you're not asking these questions, someone might install this without you realizing it. But that's definitely something that we've noticed has become quite popular. In terms of the holiday lighting side, I would say people obviously warm white is still the most popular in terms of color. People haven't really gone back to color yet? They have. There's ways to, I always tell people, if they want to do some color, we can incorporate it like pops of color here and there, while still keeping it classy, because not a lot of people want to do like the multicolor or like, wacky colors like pink or teal.
Okay.
But there's some projects that we've done it, and it's always nice to do that because 90% of our customers just want standard warm white. So using color is kind of exciting for me.
Okay. So what are some of your what are some of your past projects that stand out to you the most, that you're the most like proud
Yeah.
of, or that you'd say I want to do that again or something?
Well, locally, one of my proudest projects and the one I like to work with the most here locally is probably one of our biggest projects is the McKee Botanical Garden.
Yes,
So,
yes. Yep.
we've been working with them. I think this is our fifth
We
or
went
sixth
twice.
year now.
We came twice last year.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's awesome. They have grown it quite a bit over the years, but so we've been working with them for about 5 or 6 years. We're working with them again this year. They change it up a little bit every year, so it's always exciting to see, what kind of ideas they have and what their theme is. This year, I don't want to give it away, but it's going to be quite a bit different from last year. But we've already started planning it.
Yeah.
But that's probably my favorite because it's become kind of a tradition now where like I can go through it with my family and show them my work, because not a lot of times they get to see what I do in person, because
Right.
we may be doing things like down in Boca Raton and outside of the area where they can't, and it's a walkthrough display, so it's really great for the community. So I'm very proud of it.
Yeah,
that
you
we
should
get to
be.
put that on for the
Yeah, it's
community.
become a real tradition
Yeah.
on the Treasure Coast.
Yep, that's why I love it. Yep.
So how did you get, you did the Versace mansion. How did that come about?
They reached out to us one year. I was with one of the hotel groups down there. We did actually 2 of the hotels down in South Beach. But yeah, they needed some lighting for the holidays, and we helped them out with that. But yeah, that was one of the projects that obviously a little bit further outside of our area, our normal area. But I've also done some projects for like Kennedy Space Center.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
So that was a few years ago. They did a holiday lighting program. It was actually an animated lighting program. So we worked with a AV company to do animations through the lighting throughout the whole property, where they had like a big LED screen and they were animating things throughout the screen, making it move through the trees, which was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so through the Space Center, the visitor center that you can go through, that
Right.
the public offers.
Yep.
But yeah, that was pretty exciting, something different.
Yeah, that would be something
Yeah.
different.
So, but yeah, other than that, I mean, we work with a lot of, residential homes throughout the area, and
Yep.
and shopping centers and restaurants, hospitals, you name it.
What do you think as far as a homeowner? We have to talk after this because I was looking at my lighting over the weekend and I'm like, oh, it's hurting. I think it's like what we talked about with the moisture and everything
Right.
because of X age. What are some of the mistakes that you think homeowners, make or should stay away from, if they're thinking about or, want to try to not do it themselves, but that have done
Sure.
it in the past?
Well, first and foremost is the main thing is find yourself a dedicated lighting company that actually does this as like their full-time gig. There's a lot of companies out there that might do it as an add-on service, but I like to use the analogy, if you're going to have heart surgery, you wouldn't go to a podiatrist, you'd go to like a heart surgeon. So
Right.
find someone that specializes in the field. And then also there's a big difference in types of the quality of materials that you'd find in like the big box stores versus like what we would use. So I literally work with probably dozens of different manufacturers, and each manufacturer has probably hundreds of different models of lighting. So I can go out to a job and, figure out, if you're trying to create something or, try to create a lighting effect, or I can work with maybe 6 different manufacturers to, blend together different products for your home that are going to be high quality to sustain, the harsh Florida environment. Another thing that people don't realize is Florida is pretty harsh in terms of like humidity and sunlight.
No doubt about it. People move down from up north thinking that
Yep.
they're moving to a better climate, and in
Yeah.
a way they are. However, it's
Mhm.
hard on your house.
Yeah, I always tell people, the first thing I ask, I'm like, where'd you move from? I'm like, okay, first thing I have to tell you is like, You don't want to use like aluminum lighting out here, any plastic. It's all, you're going to put in, you're going to end up replacing it within a year. So the best things to use are a marine grade stainless or brass or copper.
Okay.
It's a little bit more of a upfront cost, but it's something that's going to last you 10, 20 years.
Okay.
It's never going to deteriorate, whereas like aluminum will just rust and break away.
Right.
So it's important the quality and find someone that's reputable and knowledgeable in their craft.
So, some like we were talking before, when you came up with your proprietary, where you silicone, do the what you're talking about, are those? I mean, do you have to do that maintenance wise?
So that was actually for our light sets for the holiday side. They're epoxy coated. That's just a form of construction that we use to make sure they're very durable. But
if you were to buy from like one of your manufacturers, how do you, make sure that with the watertight? Because, I mean, in the harsh Florida sun and humidity, I mean, it can wear down like rubber and.
Yeah. So there's two.
Do you do like maintenance where you would come around and maybe like waterproof?
I always tell people like the maintenance is optional, but I highly advise that you do it, at least like, even if we come out like quarterly or like twice a year.
Right.
It's kind of like anything. Like, you wouldn't just buy a car and not change the oil. You need to maintain it. The longer you maintain it, the longer it's going to last. A lot of times, so we'll come out and we'll do a full walkthrough of the system, check all the voltages, make sure there's no exposed wires anywhere. We'll clean the fixtures, make sure that there's no hard water buildup on the lenses. Like you said, make sure all the fixtures are fully sealed. Sometimes landscapers walk around and knock the fixtures.
So let's go back to the hard water, because I know that's one of the problems I have. What do you do about that?
So the irrigation, depending on what kind of irrigation, if you have like a well or city water, if it's a well water, sometimes if you leave it sit and the water builds up on the lenses, it can actually etch into the glass.
Oh,
so,
is that what happens? That's what happens when it gets like that foggy or kind of...
Which kind of creates like a frosting effect over the lens, which is going to, inhibit the illumination coming out of the fixture. So that's why I said, having us come out and clean that off, once a quarter, it's going to make your light system look, 10 times better over 20 years rather than just letting it go.
Right.
So,
do you have to take it apart, or you know how to clean it?
So we have a proprietary cleaning solution that we use. Normally you don't have to take it apart, but it's also good because a lot of times we go through and do the maintenance, and someone might have 40, 50 lights on their property, and we'll go through and like, oh, you had 3 broken lights and they didn't even realize it. Or like a lot of times the landscapers, when they come through, they're not looking at the fixtures
with the weed whackers or whatever.
Or a lot of times what I've seen is they allow the fixtures to get overgrown. So you don't realize they need to be trimmed. So we come through and we trim around them, make sure that they're adjusted at the right angles and everything. It's just going to make your system last longer and look better. So it's definitely something I would recommend.
So, and you do that package when you, when someone signs up to have you install their landscaping? Yeah,
like I said, it's optional. So, but I do recommend doing it. So normally I recommend coming out like once a quarter, and we'll just come through and, go through the system.
Okay. So, what plans do you have? I mean, what kind of things are you thinking about, on the horizon? If you want to, that you could share.
Mainly right now, just focused on expanding our footprint. Right now I've got 2 warehouses in Vero Beach that, we're basically completely full. So at some point we're going to look at expanding that. Maybe, whether it be another location or another warehouse here, but, mainly just focused on growth for now. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay. All right. So are you involved? I mean, do you have any community, nonprofits that you support more than the other? I mean, what kind of interests outside of that or?
Yeah. I always like doing things for the community, obviously. So, we actually someone just reached out to me last week with the downtown Fort Pierce Main Street.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to working on a proposal to light up a tree for them that we're going to donate to the Main Street downtown.
Oh,
there.
okay.
So
At Christmas time?
no, actually, we're going to do it for the 4th of July. It's going to be like a red, white, and blue
Oh,
tree.
okay.
So yeah,
All
it's
right.
kind of something that's
For
going to
the
be unique.
250th anniversary?
Yeah. And that's one thing that we've actually had a few of our customers reaching out to us about, like doing displays for the 4th of July this year. 'Cause
Interesting.
it's a big anniversary.
Now, how long? I mean, because that's coming up. I mean, it
Yeah.
seems like it's what, May 20th, I guess.
Coming up quick.
Seems, yeah. So, what's the lead time on that?
The earlier you can let us know, the better. But we got plenty of room to fit you in the schedule right now. But you don't want to wait to the last minute, especially if you want special lights like red, white, and blue. We have a limited stock of those, so can't guarantee that if you wait to the last minute.
Oh, yeah,
we'll have
because
that in
they don't
stock.
probably make a lot of that, do they?
No, that's actually something custom what we've created last year. So we imported a light set that has red, white, and blue all incorporated into one light. So it's mixed
really?
throughout the set. Yeah, it looks
So
pretty
it
neat.
runs, like, does it flash?
It doesn't flash or anything, but I mean, there's
Does
options
it
for
change color?
that. No, just red, white, and blue.
Okay.
Yeah, but
All
it's
right.
kind of unique. It's not typically something that you'd usually find in like a store or anything.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I didn't even think about that. So July 4th. So what else? So, I mean, people probably don't say anything about Halloween, although Halloween seems to be like a big holiday.
Most of we surprisingly, a lot of people ask us this, but we're more focused on Christmas just because we have to start our installations early, like in early October. So that by the time people are
Early October,
yeah,
huh?
because of the amount of customers we have. So we start putting up the lights. We don't obviously turn them on.
Right.
But, last year we did, I think over 300 projects. So, in order to do that many, you have to start a little bit early because the season is short already. So
Right.
you can only do so many.
I think it was a couple years ago that there was a shortage of Christmas lights, wasn't there? Like,
Yeah, I remember that. It's from the COVID. And that was it was beneficial to us because I was able to import our lights through the port of Miami, which was open because of the Florida laws at that time. So a lot of people that were importing and going to places like New York or California, they had no inventory throughout the season. So a lot of people were coming to us and saying, oh, we need lights, and we're the only people with lights.
So did you sell them or?
Oh yeah, we sold out that year. Yeah, it was,
Okay.
yeah, a good year for us.
All right. So now's probably the time that you start ordering all that stuff.
Yeah, we start early, so I'm thinking about Christmas constantly year round. So at this point,
Which is kind of funny.
tomorrow I have 3 meetings with homeowners and HOAs already discussing holiday lighting. So for us, we have to start early. We generally order around like March, April for our products that we want to custom order, and then the earlier that people could let us know about these things is the better, especially if you want like specialty decor pieces. A lot of people don't realize like there's limited stock of those items, and a lot of them have to be custom made. So
Okay. So is there a time, obviously coming up to Christmas, that you would maybe delay, like if someone was thinking about landscape lighting? I know it sounds funny because it's like Christmas time, but you never know. Sometimes people, want to do things for the beginning of the year.
Right,
So like
right.
1/1, it turns on and it's like Christmas was yesterday.
Yeah.
We're in the new year.
yeah, no, we can generally work around, if it's during the holiday season and they want landscape lighting, we'll generally install it like mid-December when things start to slow down for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, because you're
So,
done.
Yeah, so at that point, we're just doing maintenance. But obviously, my employees, are the amount of employees that I, have on staff that time of year tends to, quadruple or 5x. So
Yeah.
we have plenty of people to, to work and do projects like that. So we get them done pretty quickly.
So going back to the Christmas lights, when you set the stuff up in October, do you have to come back? You come back and maintain that?
Yeah, if necessary. Most of the times, it's minor things like if we put lights on like palm fronds or something, they're probably going to need to be maintained. But we show the homeowners like how to turn on the timers, which are really easy to use, and then they can just turn them on, switch them on whenever they're ready. Obviously, if they have a problem, they just call us. We respond within 48 hours.
Right.
So But yeah, it's all all maintained by us. So, but a lot of times, if you do it correctly, you don't have a lot of issues.
And the maintenance, that's in the plan that they.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So if you have like a light set burned out or something, or a light set or bulbs go out on your roof line, just call us. We'll come out. Because of the amount of crews that we have working, usually I can respond the same day because we always have people all over the Treasure Coast.
Right.
So we can usually respond fairly quickly.
Right. So, and then with your landscape lighting, when you sell, let's say, however it was designed, if it's a project, either done by the homeowner or a landscape architect or something like that, when you do that, do you or not suggest? I know you do suggest, but is the maintenance plan, is that separate or that's an add-on?
Yeah, that's separate. It's something that if you want it right up front, we can definitely tie it into the initial proposal. But most of the time, I've never had a landscape architect, mention it to me, but it's definitely something I can mention to the homeowner and get them. It's more about educating the customer of why it's important. A lot of people don't.
Because it doesn't take that long in Florida for it to start.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like by a year, you really need to be having, then it's time for the maintenance.
My goal is, I want my systems to last as long as possible. So,
right.
Just having us come out and just doing some quick maintenance is going to make it so much more beneficial for the customer.
Yeah. Great. Do you have anything else? I mean, because we're about to wrap up here. Is there any other anything else that we didn't talk about or I didn't ask? And
no, I don't believe so. I mean, I'm excited to do more projects throughout the community this year. Yep. So, if anyone wants to get on our schedule,
yes. Well, we're going to have, Jesse has your website up. We have the contact information for Christmas lighting and the landscape lighting. Please reach out to Tony or his staff at Elite Christmas Lighting and Landscape Lighting. I really appreciate you coming on today and telling us about light systems for Christmas and landscape, because it's obviously we're in Florida, so we like to show off our landscaping. But thanks again, and we will see you next time on Scouted Treasure Coast.
Thank you.